your character actually delves into this wellness, well-rounded woman because you show that you're going to therapy. You show, and I've never seen a black woman do that on television because that's being vulnerable. I'm Jamaican too. Jamaicans, we don't talk about our feelings.
Hi, I'm DeWanda Wise, and I'm here with my girls, Illy, Chyna, Margot. I just gave you a nickname. And we're here on What Had Happened Was. So this is basically a miracle because it's like they decide they can only have so many brown girls in one thing.
For sure.
I feel like now
there's a limit.
There's a limit. Like now it's a little more open, but I remember the very first thing I ever worked on was this indie adaptation of a play. And it was like, I remember thinking as a child, if they cast this chocolate woman, they're not going to cast me. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking that.
But do you not still think that way? Because I have to kind of sweep that thought under the rug whenever you get an audition for something, you know someone else is attached to it, and then you say, well she looks like me, and I'm, so, okay, this is going to go to someone else.
It depends, because sometimes I've been surprised, like with Twilight Zone, casting me and Jessica Williams, I was like, oh.
I've never seen that before.
Right?
I've never seen that before, ever. And especially of the same kind of tone. Like sometimes I'll go in for projects and I'm like, oh, I know that I'm the black role, but I know that I'm light skinned. So I know that there's going to be darker skinned women that come in that would actually be better suited for the show. But if it's like a middle America show, I know I'm gonna get cast because I'm as black as they can go.
Right.
And there's that.
I'll take that a step further and say sometimes I'll get audition material and decide to myself that I shouldn't even go in because I am not the kind of blackness that they're looking for.
Right, we gotta stop doing that to ourselves.
I mean, but you know what, it's so funny when I can pinpoint when that started, and that was with my first manager who had, you know, a black actress who was already a movie star and another one whose star was rising very quickly. And one of our first conversations was about how difficult a time he was going to have kind of placing me or finding me work.
So it was something someone actually said to you?
Yes, and I had never thought about that before ever in my life. You know, you think about your own identity, but I'd never thought about, and maybe this is, you know, me being raised in Harlem, in Manhattan, in a bubble, in a very liberal school, and not having had to face those questions. But I'd never thought about how someone else was going to
place you,
choose my identity, right?
I mean, no, not at all. I mean, I was like playing Prospero in high school. Like I had the most like naive, beautifully naive understanding, and like in some ways, in a lot of ways, it served me because I never had a ceiling for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. But it is definitely like a culture shock when you, like I graduated from school and then I was like, oh, y'all wouldn't cast me as that? I can't play this old man?
I think I was the opposite. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and then I made a fast switch to a city school, and it was a performing arts high school in Pittsburgh, and shout out Pittsburgh. And then it was the opposite. It was like a predominantly black, just eclectic group and diverse group of kids. And in my white school, I was one of 3 black people.
Right.
And my brother was one of those 3 as well, but we counted as half. So there were 2 black people, and then there was me and my brother. And that was from middle school to high school. And then when I aged out of middle school, I went to the inner city school, and it was the opposite. Like, black kids wouldn't accept me, or girls, really. And white girls wouldn't accept me. So I was kind of like in this weird in-between, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my identity was.
Do you feel like that transferred into like the industry?
I think it did, because originally starting out with music for my career, I went right into R&B because I wanted to accept and I wanted to drench myself in black culture. And I wanted to be around really powerful, strong black women. But then in the industry, everybody kept saying, straighten your hair, don't wear it curly, don't do anything natural. And then I was going in for auditions and I literally wouldn't pass the paper bag test. So it was like all of this kind of like back and forth that I didn't really know who I was, and I never felt like I fit in, and nobody ever really accepted me, so I had to fight to find myself where myself was okay with being myself, and then be able to sell it, because people just the
you have
same
to
as
tell-
you.
you have to tell people
We're
who you
telling
are.
you, I don't know what to do with you. You're just
you
confusing.
know, it's what I think it boils down to, and it's so crazy, is, you know, we could have a long conversation about hair, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have the beautiful crown of curls that most mixed actresses are. You know, people decide that, oh, you're a mixed actress,
Right.
you're not Latina, you're not Hawaiian, God no, you know, whatever. Because we look at people and we decide who they are based on their hair.
Right.
This is insane.
And
but
when
it's
you're
like,
young, starting in this industry, people tell you
Yeah.
who you are, and so they probably told you like, oh, you can go in for like you're not Ilfenesh, who your actual heritage and your ethnic background is. You're probably
you could
Native
play
American.
this, or you could play
Yeah, you
and
can
you're,
play this.
you know,
well,
and-
also in like, you know, 2008 or whatever, ethnically ambiguous
Was poppin'.
was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it
was like every breakdown.
it didn't get me
I
work,
was like, I'm
but
going
it was like,
Dominican.
It didn't
yeah,
get me
I
work
dreamed
either.
of being-
That's exactly what
Dominican,
you're
I'm
I was like, my eyes are hazel though.
Yeah.
I claimed that 0.5%.
I remember looking you up and that was like hazel.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just hazel eyes, and I was like, I'm so interested and fascinated to meet this
God.
girl.
Yeah.
Where does she come
Hazel eyes,
from?
where is she? What is she?
I think like when I started out, like I didn't go to university for it because I'm half Jamaican, and in my culture,
Right.
you go to school to become a doctor,
Like, what are you
or a
talking about?
nurse, or a teacher. And so I did as many indie films as I could because I felt like maybe I can do all of these indie films, and it didn't matter whether it was short film, like student film, like anything. It would pay, no pay, just to get footage showing that I could play this and I could
Yeah.
play that. And I thought that I could use that in order to, like, once I start going out for official work, like SAG work, then I'll be able to use that as a reel to
Yeah.
get in.
But you were ahead of
for-
the curve, though. You were ahead of the curve because you were creating characters where you
Yes.
just made it for yourself. And now that's kind of like where we are in a place now. Is if
Thank
we can't
goodness.
find and thank
Yeah.
God, if we can't find the placements as ourselves as Black women, then we
Create.
we create
Create
it.
it.
So you were already doing that before you even started. So yes,
Right, but I wish that I would have done stuff with actual quality. It's like-
I mean, no.
this
there's-
lighting was terrible.
I have, it's the same thing. I have a trillion shorts, and that was like far more.
that you got paid with a sandwich. To
Yeah,
do
I got paid for a
somebody's
sandwich,
basement.
but it was far more advantageous for me, you know what I mean, especially in this medium, than, I mean, I enjoyed my 4 years of school, but those shorts were like,
yeah, that's where you
in
are.
the
That was
web
when you had the
series,
training.
you know,
Yes.
were super important. But I had this experience. There was one agency I met with in 2012, and they were like looking at my photo, and they're like looking at my reel, which was full of like working class, you know what I mean, like characters, and they were like, we don't really know what to do with you.
It's oftentimes like a lot of the reps that we kind of go to or the agents that we meet to, oftentimes they're not Black.
Yeah.
And so they don't really understand us. I remember after I did Precious, there were people who really, there were reps who actually thought that I was plucked off of the street,
Yeah.
that I was some,
'Cause you're so
you
natural-
know,
that's
there
your
are people
acting
who didn't
style.
want to meet with me because they thought that I was
could only
Jamaican,
do-
that I didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And I was like,
my God.
patois is English.
Yeah, first
you know,
of all.
in Jamaica they speak English. And so, which, thank you, I appreciate that, you know, but it's also not understanding our culture. And not understanding, I think especially to be Black and also to be Caribbean, to not even understand that. And like right now, I still get that.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have an agent right now. And so I even still get that. Like, oh, what is she? What do you mean, what am I?
Right. There's a fear in it, though. I think that that's kind of the predominant base out of everything. It's the same thing for your story, for your story, for your story. We don't know what to do with you. I don't know this look. I don't want to
fear
meet
comes
with
from not
her.
understanding,
That's
though.
exactly right.
Yeah.
It's lack of
Lack of
knowledge. It's just
knowledge.
ignorance. So the more that we can educate people through platforms like our show and show people the diversity and the different shades and what it looks like and who we are,
is not one
and that
thing.
it is not one shade of Black. It really isn't. There's like other things and other things weaved inside of it with diversity and personality and heritage and everything in between.
Hey, what's up? I'm Chyna Layne. I'm here with my homegirls, Ilfenesh, DeWanda, Margot, and we at What Had Happened Was.